Good afternoon, everybody. Today, NBC Sports presents the University of Southern California and Notre Dame from South Bend, Indiana. An absolutely gorgeous afternoon. I'm Charlie Jones, along with Bob Trumpy. The 69th renewal of this rivalry. It's a goosebump afternoon.
Yeah, over the last 25 or 30 years, it's been like Texas, Oklahoma, Army, Navy, Ohio State, Michigan. Everything stops. You sit down, you watch this game, regardless of the team's record. You're right. This is a goosebump kind of afternoon, and it has been for a long time between these two teams.
All right, stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment, right after these messages from your local station. As I mentioned, Bob Trumpy, an absolutely fabulous afternoon in the pageantry and the involvement of the entire crowd here. Of course, another sellout crowd. The 69th meeting, as we mentioned, the Irish leading it 39-24. SC won the last time out. That was in the Coliseum in 1996. And USC has not won here in South Bend since 1981.
Charlie, it was interesting talking to both teams and even coaching staffs. The players and some of the coaches said, look, this is our bowl game. We don't have those national championship records, either one of us, but we can treat this as our bowl game.
And now you see the Trojans of the University of Southern California as they enter Notre Dame Stadium. Greeted by a solid round of boos, as expected.
Charlie, I might mention John Robinson, the head coach, accompanies his team on the field. Notre Dame got 57,700 requests for tickets for people to come and see this football game, so they don't care what the record is.
And Notre Dame, of course, play like a champion. Part of the tradition here as they get set to make their entrance. A rivalry that goes back to the year 1926. And it was Newt Rockney's wife, Bonnie, who came up with the idea after talking with some ladies from the University of Southern California of taking the train and going to the West Coast every other year in November or December and playing the Trojans of USC. And that's the way it all started in 1926.
Well, there ought to be a trophy passed back and forth from school to school.
The shillelagh. The shillelagh.
Or the Bonnie. It should be the Bonnie. She started this.
Even better. And as the Irish now gather in the tunnel. Everyone on campus is involved in this game. Bob Davie, the head coach, gathering his troops under the goalpost. And here are the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. I was right. I've got goosebumps. Let's take an official look at the weather this afternoon. 58 degrees, the humidity 52%, just a bit of a breeze. The forecast is mostly sunny as we join John Dockery on the sideline. John.
You know, Charlie, Irish coach Bob Davies has been looking for a spark all season long from somebody. Last week against Pittsburgh, he got that spark in the person of Allen Rossum, the cornerback return man who took the opening kickoff against Pittsburgh and returned it 93 yards, an electrifying return for a touchdown to set the tone and give the Irish some momentum. Rossum on his career, 5 returns for touchdowns. As a matter of fact, when you look at the Irish since '86, their returns for touchdown total 29, while they've only allowed 1. And certainly Irish better be on their toes today because USC has their own rocket return man in R.J. Soward. And some say he's even better than Allen Rossum. So, Charlie, there could be sparks on both kickoff and return teams today. Back to you.
John, before we lose you right here, you were out on the campus before the ball game. What is it like here?
Is it? I can't. Really? I can't.
I don't think we can have communications with him. That's the excitement on the sideline. here at Notre Dame Stadium. University of Southern California won the toss. They'll defer. Notre Dame will receive. John Robinson and his record, and Bob Davie in his first year as a head coach at Notre Dame.
Two coaches going through the exact same thing. Bob Davie trying to reconstruct the Notre Dame Irish football program here. He's the young guy. And of course, John Robinson, his second trip to USC, he's kind of taken everything on him with their very poor start, just 2-3 on this season. He said, look, play me. If it doesn't work, get me out of here. But I think he has a grand plan. I think he still is connected with the players. And there is no other football team that people talk about in Los Angeles. I mean, UCLA, they play football, but that's a basketball school. Raiders and Rams are gone.
You just alienated half of the city of Los Angeles with that statement.
They got other things to worry about.
They got a good football team this year.
Yes, they do. But still, if USC can win in football, all's right with the world. And John Robinson knows that and has really taken some press, some real hits out in Los Angeles. Bob Davie, there's grumblings, but they don't say it out loud.
He said it's crisis. And he said our backs are to the wall. And, of course, he has a great sense of humor. He said, and in addition, it's a million-man march. Yes. And already I have 12.
Yes. John Robinson does know how to play to the press.
Alan Rossum, the great return man for Notre Dame, the speedster out of Dallas. Adam Rendon of USC will kick it away. And we are underway here at Notre Dame Stadium. Rossum has it at the 4-yard line. To the 15-20, has a great return up the middle to the far side across the 40. Still going at the 50. He slips 2 tackles at the 45-yard line. An unbelievable return. And Petros Papadakis saves the touchdown. 55 yards on the return.
Nothing fancy about this return, Charlie. It's a middle return. Actually, the guys up front do an excellent job because you can see how far Rossum gets before there is any real contact. The kicker does an excellent job of slowing him down for Papadakis to make the tackle. Great field position for the Irish to start.
And they start at the USC 41-yard line, first down. And as expected, they start on the ground with Autry Denson. Stopped by Antoine Simmons. Let's look at the offense of Notre Dame. And first, that offensive line.
This is the new addition. Pettigrew has played everywhere on the offensive line except center. Now at left tackle since Clevenger's out for the season. This is the guy, Autry Denson, and Ken Berry, excellent blocking back up in front of him.
Second down and 3. Wallace hands off to Denson again. Has the hole on the right side. 25-yard line, first down. And from the get-go, the offensive line of Notre Dame is dominating USC. Let's look at that USC defense. Chad Morton with the last tackle.
Actually, this defensive line has had its problems. Last week, they allowed Arizona State 236 yards rushing.
Spot the ball at the 25-yard line of SC. This is the opening drive of the ball game. A sparkling 55-yard kickoff return by Alan Rossum. Linebackers and secondary. They have their work cut out for him here. Gets him to the left side. Hit, breaks the tackle, 10-yard line. 15 yards on the play. Dalen McCutcheon makes the stop.
Charlie, last year when these two teams met, even though USC won, Denson had 160 yards on 33 carries. This is just the isolation play, the lead. Nothing fancy about it. I think one of the things that Notre Dame's offense has decided upon is not run Denson to the corner, running between the tackles.
Denson has 31 yards in 3 carries. A double tight end offensive set. First down for the Irish, and a timeout is called. SC will take a timeout before the play gets off.
Yeah, they had the wrong personnel on the field. You may have seen at the last moment Abdul Malik run off of the field. And the middle linebacker, Claiborne, had the presence of mind to at least, here's the guy running off. The middle linebacker, Claiborne, realizes we don't have enough guys on the field here. He turns around to the umpire and calls the timeout just in time.
13 minutes, 23 seconds. That is the time remaining. We're in the first quarter. This is the opening thrust of the ball game by Notre Dame, and that offensive line is completely dominating the defense of USC.
And strangely, coming into this football season, John Robinson thought his defensive line was going to be a stout bunch and worried about his offensive line. And the offensive line has not done its job, and neither has the defensive line. And you start that power pyramid in football with the guys up front. That's Keith Burns, the defensive coordinator, right there. And for USC to not be able to run the ball so far this season and give up the run, very, very unusual for a USC football team.
Notre Dame successful with the run last week against Pitt. They said we're going to try and continue it, and they certainly are starting on a high note.
Yeah, 52 carries last week for 317 yards. Yes, that's a successful running game.
The pitch is to Denson. Shut off inside, goes to the outside, looks for a block, cuts back inside, goes to the 1-yard line. Mike Rosenthal was the pulling guard that led the way, and Mark Cassano saved the touchdown for USC.
And also an excellent lead block by Berry right here. Good seal job done by the guys inside. You see Berry 28 with a block on the middle linebacker, Cassano. And right down to the goal line, and Ron Paulus comes out.
And Jarius Jackson comes in with a full house backfield. In short yardage, we will see this all afternoon, and it's Autry Denson to the right side into the end zone for the touchdown. His 7th of the year. Denson scoring from just inside 2 yards away, capping the drive that was set up by Allen Rossum's return.
Jarius Jackson in there because Bob Davie said, look, with him at quarterback on the full house backfield, it is our best chance to score inside the 20 and in short yardage and goal line situations. Nothing that Ron Paulus can't do. Jackson's a better threat to run the ball.
The extra point by Jim Sanson is good, and Notre Dame moves out in front of USC by a score of 7-0. And we're only 2 minutes and a few seconds into the ball game.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service, by Notre Dame and Adidas, by Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. We measure it one investor at a time. And by GTE, the official telecommunications consultant to the NCAA.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium, where the Irish are up 7-0 for their head coach Bob Davie over John Robinson and the University of Southern California. The Trojans with their first opportunity now to move on offense. R.J. Soward, number 18, their big play man, and Dalen McCutcheon, number 1, also big play man. They are deep on the return, and Scott Sinja is going to kick it off.
Now, Soward has returned to kickoff for a touchdown, so John Robinson would like a replay of what Notre Dame just did with Allen Rossum.
Kick off for the Irish.
Oh, short kick. They don't want to kick it to the guys back there.
They're kicking it high and short to keep it away from him. Taken by one of the upbacks and down on his knee at that point. So the play will be dead at the 22-yard line.
Well, Bob Davie is saying, I'm not about to have Soward or McCutcheon follow up a good kickoff return by Allen Rossum. And his knee didn't go down there.
Zeke Marino.
And there was no signal of a fair catch. Actually, he could have run with that football.
SC will start now from their own 23-yard line, first down. And their first opportunity on offense with John Fox, the quarterback. Fox hands off to DeLon Washington, who is starting at running back. And Washington carried to the 25-yard line, a pickup of a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8. Here's that SC offensive line.
It's big, it's tough, but it has not produced.
Backs and receivers.
You've got a game breaker here, and here if John Fox, the quarterback, can get time to throw it.
Fox spins. He hands off to Washington. Washington a straight shot across the 30-yard line. Out to the 31. Good for 6. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Stopped by Bobby Howard as we look at the defense of Notre Dame.
Corey Bennett back at nose guard after a couple weeks off with a bad knee. And here's where the responsibility lies. These linebackers up here have to handle the run of USC with 7 so they can drop to 4 in coverage to make sure the real quick and fast receivers from USC can't get the big play.
3rd down and 2. The pitch is to Washington. Washington has the corner and he has the 1st down as he goes near the 35-yard line. That will be enough to pick it up.
Charlie, to understand how difficult a situation USC is in this year, they are averaging just 95 yards rushing per game. That's 2.6 yards per carry for this offense. You can see, look at 94.8 a game. They haven't really decided or figured out exactly what they do best offensively to this point in the season.
Malifo McKenzie makes his first appearance in the ball game. John Robinson calls him a ricochet runner as he bounces off of defenders. And he goes down near the 40-yard line. He can't bounce off of Bobby Howard, who brings him down.
And he is a true freshman, has a sprained left shoulder, but wants to play against Notre Dame. Wants to play every week. Wants to play every snap. Wants to play both ways. That's the kind of the player McKenzie is.
He is only the 3rd true freshman to start at tailback for USC. He gets a call again, tries the left side, cuts back over the middle, and he'll pick up the 1st down as he goes across the 45 out to the 46-yard line. He's brought down by Corey Minor, the linebacker who is from Laverne, California, wants to attend UCLA Law School and become a sports agent.
A sports agent.
Sports agent.
Very smart on his part. No headaches. Generally get big checks. Very smart.
No heavy lifting.
No heavy lifting.
1st down, USC. They started this drive at their own 23-yard line. The Irish are up by a score of 7-0. The flea flicker is dropped and then thrown behind the defense. It is incomplete. The drop lateral off on the flea flicker. The defensive safeties had time to recover. Deveron Harper, who said, I don't want to let anybody get behind me. And he did, but he had time to catch up.
Actually, this ball should have been caught. And Fox does an excellent job of getting it up, but watch how he just floats by Deveron Harper. Harper does catch up to him, gets his hands up there. That's an excellent job by number 10, Deveron Harper. Just his 3rd game at safety. Read his eyes, got his hands in there to knock the ball away.
But R.J. Sauer did have to slow up. And he has the speed to get away from the safeties once that he's behind him. Here's DeLon Washington back in the ball game for USC. Here, and McKenzie will be going in and out throughout the whole afternoon.
You can certainly see what USC's choice is to do here. And that is try a number of different running backs and all play out of 2 tight end formations, Charlie, and then suck the defense up and then try for the big play down the field. Greg Madison, defensive coordinator, knows how athletic this offense of USC is.
50-yard line, 3rd down and 5.
Blitz.
Fox to throw over the middle. It is high, but it is caught, pulled down by Antoine Harris, the freshman from Loyola in Los Angeles. First freshman to start at tight end since World War II. Gain of 13. 1st down.
Well, this is an excellent read. The tight end's right here. He reads the blitz properly. So does the quarterback Fox. Deveron Harper, again, he doesn't want to get beat deep. He's about 10 yards off when he's supposed to be up there on the tight end. 1st down pickup.
His brother Dwayne, cornerback for San Diego Chargers, in the stands here today. Said he's his role model. 1st down, 37-yard line. Whistle sound as McKenzie is pulled down. We've got a flag flying. The officials from the Big Ten, David Whitvoyd is the referee.
Prior to the snap, we have a false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
That will take the ball back to the 42-yard line, 1st down and 15. In case you joined us past the 2-minute mark in the ball game, Allen Rossum, a 55-yard kickoff return, and from that point on, Hawk Redemption, in 5 plays, took it into the end zone, all on the ground. McKenzie at the 40-yard line. Just a couple. It'll be second down and 13. And John Fox, the quarterback, is going to have to go to the air.
When you mentioned going to the air, it is interesting that John Robinson proclaimed before this season start that the era of passing the ball at USC is over. But then he goes out and he hires an offensive coordinator named Hugh Jackson, who was at the University of California with Steve Mariucci, the West Coast offense. And they do throw the ball in the West Coast offense now.
Second down and 13. Here's the screen left side. Well diagnosed by Bobby Howard. McKenzie pulled it in and Howard pulled him down. A loss of 6 yards on the play. It'll be third down and 19.
Howard not fooled. Decent speed by the linebackers at Notre Dame. He reads the guard perfectly. Is right out there in the flat to make a sure-handed tackle. And that's Bobby Howard's 4th tackle so far at the beginning of this game.
Third down. 3 wide receivers. Fox to throw. He can run. Goes on the run. Passes complete. Going deep over the middle to his tight end, Antoine Harris. He is going to pick up the first down. He needed 19. He got 23 yards on the play.
6 defensive backs in the ball game. Here is the tight end right here. Fox again does a great job. You're going to see 13 begin to rush and then drop out. Now he's kind of checking on the tight end, but when Fox threatens to run, 13 Friday comes up to the line of scrimmage. Tight end comes open. Nice completion. Very smart play by the quarterback Fox.
This drive started back at the 23-yard line. 3 times SC has converted. On third down, here's the reverse with the quarterback Fox. There's the lead blocker. Jumping to the outside is R.J. Salley. And he will go out just shy of the 5-yard line, picking up 17 yards on the play. Ivory Covington finally got him, and SC, they're using the whole bag of tricks.
Why not?
And a new bag.
Yeah. He's going to come from here, and Soward has such unbelievable speed. The Trojans try to get the ball in his hands as many times as possible. And this reverse with a player of that speed will work in any and all instances.
Just outside the 5-yard line, Soward averaging a touchdown every 6.5 times he touches the ball. This will just be a straight shot by DeLon Washington. It was first down and goal to go just outside the 5. Now at the 3, it'll be second down and goal to go.
John Robinson, in talking to us, said we need to play with emotion here today. We need to play like we're having fun. We need to play relaxed. And actually, the play calling here in the first series offensively looks relaxed, looked like fun.
The ball players all told us that they were afraid to make a mistake. Yes. They were afraid, and John said, like, you got to turn loose. Just don't play. Washington, the second back, flew into the end zone. DeLon Washington scoring for USC. Capping a drive of 77 yards. And for DeLon Washington, that is his first touchdown of the year.
Watch the trap here, Charlie. You're going to see an excellent job and a lead trap that allows this hole up right up through the middle of the defense. Fullback leads very well. Good quick sprint by Washington into the end zone. And that's a relaxed scoring drive.
Adam Abrams will now go for the tie. And he has it. And USC has now come from behind to tie Notre Dame at 7 with 6.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Number 24, DeLon Washington, the senior from Dallas, scoring his first touchdown of the year.
He was a 1,000-yard rusher for USC 2 years ago, and Allen Rossum on the sideline. He's not deep for this kickoff return.
Tony Driver is deep for the return.
Yeah, I have a feeling they may have taken Rossum out just to get the ball kicked to Driver.
You may be right. Figuring that SC would counter the same way that Notre Dame did. And Driver will field this one at the 11-yard line. And is going to be dropped about the 18. He'll have 7 yards on the return. Iffy Ohalete of Los Alamitos.
I'm proud of
the
you.
tackle.
I'm proud of you.
I am too. Way to go, Iffy. Saturday, November the 1st, the NBC Saturday Trilogy returns with all new thrills. First, The Pretender is back, then the newest Trilogy show, Sleepwalkers, followed by the return of Profiler. The all-new NBC Saturday Trilogy is coming your way in 2 weeks here on NBC. Notre Dame and SC now tied at 7. Jensen, who has been the only ball carrier for Notre Dame from scrimmage, will pick up a couple of yards to the 20-yard line. He now has 6 carries for 43 yards rushing in the ballgame. Well on his way to the century mark, possibly for the 14th time in his career.
Yeah, he's the only guy other than Russell that's touched the ball. The center, quarterback, and Autry Denson and Alan Russell on the kickoff return.
A play-action fake, sets, throws, passes complete. He goes to Malcolm Johnson. That is his 28th reception on the year, 13 yards, first down Notre Dame.
The 2 corners that you have here for USC, this is an interesting matchup that Notre Dame is going to have all day. Kelly is considered the better of the 2. He and McCutcheon are in tandem considered probably the best corners there is in the country. Bob Davies said, we're not afraid of them. We're going to go at them. We can't avoid them.
First down, Notre Dame. Jensen to the near side, looks for the corner, has it. Is hit around the 43-yard line, comes down about the 45 or the 46. 12 more yards to his total. Dalen McCutcheon cut him down for USC. First down, Irish.
Now, last week, of course, Denson, 19 carries, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's got 2 100-yard rushing games in a row. And look, when you can dominate a team like they did last week, Notre Dame, have 52 rushes for 317 yards, you're going to win an awful lot of football games.
Wallace gives this time to Ken Berry, the first back through, the fullback. That is only his 13th carry on the year. Antoine Simmons, the linebacker / safety for USC, makes the stop. The ball just outside SC's 45-yard line.
Charlie, I was going to say, if nothing else, that win last week against Pittsburgh convinced Jim Coletto, the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, that we're going to hammer it at them until they slow us down.
And here's the hammer again. And it's Denson sliding through the line to the 40-yard line. That offensive line of Notre Dame's of Pettigrew, Wisney, Kaczynski, Rosenthal, and Dowdy are dominating the ball game on offense. David Gibson with the last tackle.
And Charlie, here's something that you didn't used to see with Notre Dame offensive linemen. You see little trap blocks and things just bouncing through there. And you see Rosenthal 79 coming on the trap play. With this new configuration of the offensive line, sometimes the offensive linemen at 2-point stances, they can run the trap play. Previous years, they really were not very good at it.
Notre Dame averaging almost 8 yards a rush as Denson goes to the right side, 36-yard line. He picks up 4 on the play.
Seems to be absolutely tireless, too.
Yes.
And I'm sure just as soon as I say that, they'll replace him. But again, a nice block by Ken Berry, 28 out in front. Denson stays right on Berry's shoulder to get as many yards as he possibly can out of there. David Gibson with a nice play off the block for the tackle.
Denson has already rushed now for 64 yards in 9 carries. Play action, fake ball is rolling right. Throws the pass back underneath the coverage. It is complete down the right sideline. He goes to Ken Berry, the fullback, 12 yards, first down.
Charlie, this is a perfect call. Teams call this sticky. 10 guys at the line of scrimmage, free safety. Fake the run, bootleg. Fullback comes out in the flat. An absolutely perfect call for the sticky defense. And Jim Coletto has to be proud of that. I'm betting that's an audible. At Ron Paulus, when he sees the sticky, there's Coletto upstairs. An excellent call.
Bobby Brown wide to the near side. Johnson wide to the far side. Denson on a sweep to the near side. Avoids one SC player. Cuts back to the 20-yard line. A flag is down. He'll go out about the 15, but we'll go back to check out the marker as Rashard Cook, the junior from Morris High School in San Diego, brought him down.
Nice call, John.
Holding called against Notre Dame.
The holding call against the Irish. And that's the only thing that can stop Notre Dame's running attack is Notre Dame.
Yeah, to this point, it's been almost all Audrey Denson.
During the play, we have holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
The ball goes back to the 27-yard line. It'll be first down and 13.
Paul is looking at his menu on his wrist for the next play.
Tim Ritter, the junior from Omaha, 6'7", 298, is now in at tight end. A look at the play selection thus far in the ball game. Paulus, a play action fake. Throws at the last minute, high and wobbly, but it is caught by Rakai Nelson down the sideline. 23 yards on the play. Antoine Simmons had the coverage from USC, and Paulus was nailed just as he let it go.
Well, there should have been a flag. There is no question that the receiver pushed the defensive back. None whatsoever. You can't really see the shove there, but look, Nelson does an excellent job of concentrating on the football. Almost looked like it was a good thing it was underthrown. He still can't quite catch up the shove. The USC sideline was complaining to no avail.
First down, goal to go. Here's Denson on the right side. Jarius Jackson now the quarterback. Goal line, short yardage. He comes in. Paulus comes out. It'll be second down and goal to go for Notre Dame. They started this drive back at their own 18.
And this is something that Ron Paulus, the quarterback for the Notre Dame Irish, does not like. He does not want to come off the field, but he admits that Jarius Jackson is a better threat to run the ball and does increase Notre Dame's chances to score.
Here's Denson, right side. He's going to lead to about the 1 yard line, where it'll be third down and goal to go. Well, when we talked to Ron Paulus yesterday, we said it's very simple. Score from 20 yards out. Don't get it close.
That's right. As if you had control of that.
Yeah, that's right. 1 minute, 45 seconds and counting. Time remaining in the first quarter. Currently, the ball game tied at 7 as Notre Dame tries to break that tie. And there is Paulus along the sideline. Full house back to him. Now going into the left, and it's a touchdown for Notre Dame. Tony Driver goes in. Tony Driver, the freshman from Louisville, capping the drive of some 82 yards, scoring his second touchdown of the year.
What a shot. Somebody other than Denson carries it. What's going on here?
Sanson will attempt the extra point. It is good. And Notre Dame moves out in front for the second time in the ballgame. They now lead 14-7. Back with the kickoff. 1:29 time remaining in the first quarter. Notre Dame on top by a score of 14-7. Scott Sinja will be kicking off to either R.J. Soward or Dalen McCutcheon. They are the two deep backs. Now they're starting to edge up to the 10-yard line. As the last time, Sinja with a short, high kick. But you expect now for McCutcheon and Soward to be edging in that direction. McKenzie and Bob Aubrey are two of the upbacks. This one is going to carry further than they wanted it to. And here's R.J. Soward on the return. And they use the sideline against him, and they take him out of bounds. Nice play. Following Notre Dame football online at NBCSports.com, Bob Davie talks about the Irish schedule and the state of the football program at Notre Dame. Let's read through the mailbag and hear what's on the minds of Notre Dame fans. Whoa. It's all at NBCSports.com.
Bob Davie doesn't read any of that stuff. Says he doesn't watch TV, doesn't read the newspapers.
Well,
So far, at least.
SC will start this drive at their own 29-yard line. We've had 3 offensive drives. We've had 3 touchdowns. SC starts on the ground as they did before. DeLon Washington, the senior from Dallas, who scored the touchdown for SC, is stopped by the linebacker, Lamont Bryan. The play selection thus far.
I think it's key. Whether they can run or not, they're going to try to convince their opponent today that each has a running game. And again, USC, one of the most shocking statistics about this football team to this point, just averaging just 95 yards rushing per game. This is tailback you.
But as John Ryman said, if the defense puts 8 in the box, you can't run against them. Quick pass outside. The tight end freshman from Loyola, Antoine Harris. 13 yards, first down. Stopped by Friday the 13th, the junior from Houston.
This young man is a true freshman. Antoine Harris, last year at this time, he's going to homecoming, playing some high school football somewhere. This kid has made an amazing transformation into a major college football player. And you can see he is a load.
And has 3 receptions for 48 yards in the ball game. Washington, absolutely nothing there. Maybe a half a step, and that's going to be it. It'll be second down and 10.
Charlie, I don't want to go back to the last play, but let me tell you why Harris has 3 catches to this point.
Why?
Notre Dame is paying so much attention to the 2 guys on the outside. Soward, they want to make sure he doesn't get them. That you're going to help the outside guys with coverage, and you're going to leave the middle open for the tight end. So the quarterback Fox is doing an excellent job, as is Hugh Jackson, the offensive coordinator, of taking what's open.
And time has expired at the end of the first quarter. Notre Dame leads 14-7. Back with the second period in a moment. This is Charlie Jones with Bob Trumpy and John Dockery here at Notre Dame Stadium as we continue this great intersectional rivalry between the University of Southern California and Notre Dame. Started in 1926. This is the 69th renewal. Notre Dame is up 14-7 to give us to the second back through. And that is the freshman from Mission Viejo, Malifo McKenzie. Deveron Harper making the tackle.
Actually, nothing fancy about this blocking. This is a big, aggressive offensive line. Just straight ahead blocking. Excellent timing. McKenzie right at the spot where the block is made to get right by the tackler. McKenzie he's Samoan. You see the tattoo on his arm. Edge rushing USC 67, Denson 74. Timeout taken by Fox. For USC, they've now burned 2 timeouts.
SC will have only 1 timeout remaining here in the first half. We have 14:37 left to go in the second quarter. This is a must-see weekend on NBC. It continues tomorrow with an NFL doubleheader beginning at 12 noon Eastern Time with the NFL on NBC. Greg Gumbel and company will visit with 2 of the league's premier stars, Deion Sanders and John Elway. Well, that's too extreme. Whoa, all right. Plus a full examination, the doctor is coming to town, of the most intriguing current pro football rivalry, the Patriots and the Jets. That will be interesting. Then in game 1 of our doubleheader, most of you see Mark Brunell and the Jacksonville Jaguars take on Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys. Quickly, what's happened to the Cowboys in one word?
They've gotten old. They've gotten old, hurt, and the injury to Moose Johnson changes the personality of that football team forever.
Then in game 2, Elway and the Broncos travel to Oakland to battle Jeff George and the Raiders, and that's another one. Oh,
that's a cage match.
And you can throw that out, can't you? All records go away. Regional action. Check your local listings for the games in your area. That's NFL and NBC doubleheader tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time. And stay with us on this must-see weekend on NBC Sports. First down. McKenzie getting the call again. He goes to the 40-yard line. He'll pick up 4 yards on the play. Well, Malifo McKenzie, he's a very interesting young man, and he has a special T-shirt that he wears before and after the ball games. He used to wear it during the ball games, but not anymore because he is afraid that it might get torn, and that's in honor of his brother, who has passed away, had Down syndrome. Second down. Fox rolls, throws on the run. The grab is caught. It is R.J. Sauer. He's turning the corner and down the sideline. You mentioned the speed earlier. Oh, he's got 3 gears down the sideline. 31 yards on the play. Covington and Harper finally get it. Big play SC.
He has averaged 19 yards a catch. This is well done.
31.
The flanker goes in, draws the corner with him, and it's a darn good thing that Ivory Covington has some speed, or Sauer runs that ball into the end zone. Man, these two teams are like scoring machines. Notre Dame's had it twice, scored twice. This is SC's second possession. They're knocking on the door.
Trying to put together a 71-yard drive for a score. First down goal to go, 9-yard line. Here is the pitch outside, coming back inside is McKenzie. Notre Dame is there. A gain of only a yard to the 8. It'll be second down and goal to go. Lamont Bryant and Bobby Howard got it.
McKenzie is a young man who has a personal trainer. His name is Marv Marinovich. Remember Todd Marinovich, the former USC quarterback? McKenzie is probably beat to death by Marv Marinovich in his training the way he used to do with Todd.
And spinning inside the 5 is McKenzie down to the 3-yard line. It'll be third down and goal to go. And he's a workaholic. I mean, he will lift weights and continue running after practice, and is probably in the best shape maybe of anybody in collegiate football.
And the other thing about McKenzie too is that he's listed as a tailback, but at 6 foot 210, he's really fullback size. You know, normally USC puts quick guys back there, guys like Mike Garrett, Anthony Davis, Charles White, but he's more of a fullback tailback.
Third down goal to go, 4 wide receivers. Not in time.
Charlie, they got to take this penalty because they've already wasted 2 timeouts in this first half already.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
If you
Notre Dame confused on defense.
Okay, John. Go ahead, Dockery.
We heard John Dockery say something on the sideline.
Said he was Notre Dame was
Did you
confused.
see that?
Yeah, John, we saw that, but then so was USC. They were very late getting their personnel on the field, which made it appear that the Irish were confused on defense. They're trying to match personnel in this situation.
Now back to a standard set with 2 wide receivers on the near side. Fox throws, end zone, caught, touchdown USC, R.J. Sauer. It is his 6th touchdown of the year. NC pulls within 1 of Notre Dame. Allen Rossum is the man that he beat.
This young man is going to beat a lot of people before his career is over. This is a simple square out, not even a play action fake. Notre Dame choice is to blitz there on the goal line, and you see Sauer just run away from the defensive back. And that's one of the things that you just hope you have in a receiver. A guy can accelerate away from coverage.
Adam Abrams for the tie. And it is through the uprights. We are tied at 14. USC and Notre Dame. One more look at the score as we step aside. We'll be back with the kickoff in just one moment. R.J. Sauer strikes at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. By Canon Laser Color, its only competition is reality. By Champion, official outfitter of Notre Dame football. And by Aetna Retirement Services, built for retirement, managed for life.
Coming into this ball game, R.J. Sauer has scored a touchdown every 6.6 times that he had touched the football. Well, he's ahead of that. He's touched it 4 times and he scored.
This young man is just 19 years old. We're not talking about a college senior. We're talking about a young man who likes to hang around Keyshawn Johnson. He'll make you self-confident, if nothing else.
Wants to own his own record label. Plays the piano. He's a great musician. And here's the kickoff. Allen Rossum moves the deep back. This is taken by one of the young backs on the return. Is that Tony Driver? Yeah, it is Tony Driver. And remember, Tony, he was was a deep back before, and now he's off on the corner, and he returns it for 30 yards on the play. Tonight on NBC, it's more of a must-see weekend, and what a weekend this is on NBC. Game 1 of the World Series, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific, as Dave Justice and the American League champion Cleveland Indians battle Bobby Bonilla and the nationally champion Florida Marlins. Game 1, World Series tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, here on NBC.
The World Series in Florida. Did you ever think that would come to pass?
No, only spring training.
Yeah, only spring training, yeah. All those
now
people.
they have both ends of the spectrum, the beginning and the end.
Deacon Cooper being attended to on the sideline. He was on that kickoff return.
Bob Davie, the head coach of the Irish. Ball game tied at 14. Notre Dame will start from their own 40-yard line, first down. Huge hole over the right side for Clement Stokes. The senior from Washington, D.C. He goes out to the 48-yard line, 2nd and 2. Mark Casano of SC makes the tackle.
He had 109 yards rushing last week against Pittsburgh. He was ineligible in 1996. Bob Davie said that he earned his way back into the starting lineup. As you see, average yards per play, 7'8", 6'9". This is like a Western Athletic Conference football game to this point, Charlie.
Jamie Spencer and Clement Stokes are the running backs now for Notre Dame. Play action fake by Paulus, buys some time, goes into man coverage, and the pass is caught. Outstanding reception by Rakai Nelson. Richard Cook was draped all over him.
Actually, I think that went through Cook's hands to get to Rakai Nelson.
18 yards on the play, first down, SC 34. Here it is.
Nelson in the slot. This ball kind of floats out there. It does go through Cook's hands into Rakai Nelson's hands. I'm not sure why Ron Paulus could not put a little more steam on that, but to think that the receiver can catch it and the defender not intercepted, rather remarkable.
Double tight end on this offensive set. And back to the ground game. On the right side is Clement Stokes. Stokes goes to the 30-yard line.
Charlie, Bob Davie told us, as I said earlier, he was ineligible in 1996. Sat out the entire year. You get a second chance at Notre Dame. And Bob Davie said because of his outstanding play on special teams to this point in the season, he deserved a chance to carry the ball a little bit. And last week, 15 carries, 109 yards. That's more carries than he's had in his entire career.
2nd down and 6. First back through is Jamie Spencer, the fullback, at 6'1", 250 pounds. He takes Mark Maddock with him, the junior from Salinas, who brings him down for SC.
This was against Pittsburgh. USC is not Pittsburgh, but 6.7, 7.3, 6.3 yards a carry will win you a lot of football games at every level. It's something that the Notre Dame Irish have not been able to do at this point in the season, except against Pittsburgh last weekend.
3rd down and 4 at the SC 28-yard line. Jamie Spencer is the remaining back, 3 wide receivers on the set. Gettrell, the speedy freshman, is in. Pass is incomplete to Bobby Brown as he cut to the far side. Antoine Simmons had the coverage.
Paulus did have time to throw, just overthrown slightly.
4th down and 4. From the 35-yard line, a 45-yard field goal attempt by Jim Sampson. Hunter Smith will hold. John Spickelmeyer is the snapper. This is equal to the best distance that he has had this year. From 45 yards away, it is no good. It is no good from 45 yards out, and we remain tied at 14 with 9:46. That is the time remaining in the second quarter. SC and Notre Dame. We're going to step aside. We'll be back on this gorgeous afternoon here at Notre Dame. Don't go away. This is a great one. USC 14, Notre Dame 14. The missed field goal, the first time that one or the other team on offense has not scored in the ballgame. But one of the key matchups is between R.J. Sauer, number 18 of USC, and 15, Alan Rawson of Notre Dame. And they are matched up on the far side. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Malifo McKenzie gets the call, and Brad Williams stops him after a gain of a yard on the play.
Actually, big game for Brad Williams. From the Southern California area, went to a lot of USC games as a kid. What did he tell us yesterday? He thought he was more of a basketball player than a football player.
Yeah, and then until all of a sudden he became 250 pounds.
Yeah, that'll certainly change your mind.
He said this is a pride game. Like you mentioned, he knows so many kids from the other team that he played for and against. Overthrow. Coming off of the fake, Antoine Harris, the intended receiver. And Deveron Harper had the coverage. Let's go down to John Dockery.
You know, Charlie, for most of this game, the two best football players on the field were going head-to-head. You mentioned it, R.J. Sauer for the Trojans and Alan Rossum, the cornerback, for the Irish. You know what? Something about Rossum just doesn't strike me as right in his psyche. I played cornerback for a lot of years. On that last Irish kickoff, he deferred. He let Tony Driver take it. He also was not covering Sauer on that last play, nor is he covering him now. I'm wondering about the psyche of Alan Rossum at the moment.
3rd down and 9. Quick 5-step drop, setting the screen left side. Way underthrows the screen, but he's got a lot of pressure with Lamont Bryant right in his face. Sermon's the intended receiver.
Good blitz here called by Notre Dame to put pressure. 4-man rush, then you see it's read quickly. Very quickly by Notre Dame. 53, Lamont Bryant was right in the quarterback's face. There was no chance for that play to work.
Jim Wren will be kicking to Alan Rossum. Remember, Rossum, the opening kickoff, had a 55-yard return. Terrible kick. Hits it low, takes an SC roll, goes inside the 40 to the 38-yard line of Notre Dame. 34 yards on the kick by Jim Wren, who's been averaging 43.5 yards a kick. He is a senior. Last year's average was 45.6. He is supposed to be one of the best in the nation. Here is the snap as we take another look.
He hit it fat. His toe dragged on the turf.
This great Notre Dame moment is brought to you by Adidas. 1993. Bobby Bowden leads #1 Florida State into South Bend to face #2 Notre Dame. The Irish dominate most of the game, but Heisman Trophy winner Charlie Ward had a final chance. It's not football. It's Notre Dame football.
We're tied at 14. Let's go back to that missed kick.
Watch both of his feet. Jim Wren, an experienced punter, watch his left foot right on this step. It drags. And then his kicking foot, look at the divot he takes. He's lucky to have made contact with that football at all, Charlie.
Notre Dame from their own 38-yard line. Ball is the quarterback. Here is Denson to the right side, starring in the first touchdown drive. Mark Casano, the junior from Colony, Texas, makes the stop. At the end of the ball game, Bob and I will be selecting the Chevrolet Scholarship Program players of the game that we will announce, as money will be awarded to both schools.
A couple of obvious choices to this point.
Yeah, so far.
Audrey Denson and R.J. Sauer.
Not unexpected, though, at this
pretty easy choices.
2nd down. Denson to the left side. This time he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Sultan Abdumalik, the freshman from Arcadia, was there, number 44.
Charlie, this USC defense is normally a very active defense. They give you a lot of different fronts, different looks, and they make the offense adjust at the last possible second. But since Notre Dame has run the ball so efficiently in this first half, the USC defense kind of anchored in that base 4-3 set.
3rd down and 5. 3 wide receivers. Paulus has pressure and it's knocked away. Cedric Jefferson, the senior from Fort Worth, knocked it away. He said, Cedric told us this game against Notre Dame, we'll play it in a parking lot. Let's get it on.
Well, I think they prefer grass. Crossing pattern run by Notre Dame. Some pressure up front. And 97 is there. 44 is also there. Abdul Malik. A good pressure right in the face. Cedric Jefferson is the player that knocked it down.
So Hunter Smith will be kicking. He has a 43.2 yard average. R.J. Soward is the return man for USC.
Where's the sideline?
Pressure, good kick, high, floater, flag is down. Soward takes it at the 10, slips a tackle, has a left return on, and goes out of bounds near the 25-yard line. Marker back at the 33-yard line.
That's going to be a roughing the Hunter flag, but there's also one on the sideline after the run. And here is the snap. USC was definitely coming after this kick. And Dalen McCutcheon right up the middle, number 1, runs right into Hunter Smith.
Gets a piece of him.
And no question about that flag. McCutcheon trying to make the big play. That is contact, but then after the punt was received on the sideline, there is an additional flag. We'll see what happens and who that's on.
And Jason Steen was involved in that melee along the near sideline in front of the Notre Dame bench. Both penalties going against the University of Southern California. The second was a personal foul. The first one was for running into the kicker.
Yeah, now for running into the kicker, I believe that's a first down.
It is a personal foul.
John Robinson is saying that's after the play.
During the play, we have interference, 5-yard penalty on the defense, first down.
But I don't know why running into the kicker doesn't take precedent.
Well,
They're taking both of them.
Yeah.
I see. Notre Dame keeps the ball. The interference penalty is added on, then running into the kicker. So it's going to end up being something like a 25 or 30-yard penalty against USC.
It goes to the 36-yard line of USC. And in addition, remember, that was third down. That was a kicking situation where SC would have had the football. So rather than FC and the football at their own 30-yard line, Notre Dame retains possession at the 36-yard line of USC and a first down. Two very costly penalties against the Trojans. The second one, of course, the dead ball foul after the play was over. Paulus checks. Here runs the option and the pitch outside to Audrey Denson down the line. Shades of Lou Holtz. We haven't seen that this year. And Dalen McCutcheon moves up from corner to make the stop.
Well, they're trying any way they possibly can to get the ball to Audrey Denson in different looks. That's a long pitch. Good lead blocking again. Nice block by 88 Bobby Brown out in front. It picks up 8 and 9 yards, and he's basically been the running game for Notre Dame. His 15th carry now, 87 yards and a touchdown.
Second down and 2. Denson again. Almost breaks it clean. The last man who had a shot got him. That was Richard Cook, the strong safety.
Charlie, again, a nice little trap by the offensive line, trying to pop Denson through the line of scrimmage as quick as possible. Again, watch the job of the guys up front. 71 does an excellent job on the pull. That's Wisney. And you've got Audrey Denson, the featured back today.
The first back through is Ken Berry, the fullback. He will go to the 17-yard line, maybe the 16, where he was third back once again by Cook. It's going to be second down.
Charlie, we have certainly seen a display by